back. Hello and welcome to AA episode 36. We're on the way to 50. Answering Atheism episode 36. Thanks for tuning in here today. June 9th, 2018. It is quite a joy for me to be able to speak in this casual discussion today based upon an atheist comment that I've selected from off the internet, which includes my notes for the sake of time, to guide me along. Before we get to the comment, I like to dish out a verse, so we'll stick with Jeremiah 17:9, so we get on the right footing. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? And then I wanted to say a couple things. One of them I forgot. Second of all, it seems like the recording software is very crashy, and I have to keep moving the mouse like I have a hand spasm. So we will just do that and hope for the best, because crashing in the middle of a video you worked on is very, very frustrating. And to be honest, one of the last 3 videos we did, someone saying Christians should be jailed, something like that. That slightly irritated me off camera. He just, I don't know, sounded like total communist or fascist or something like that. Anyhow, but anyhow, let's just get to the comment. All right, who's ready for the next comment we get to deal with, or try to deal with here? All right, here we go. Let's deal with this comment. A horrific fairy tale used to traumatize children. Now, what is he referring to? He's referring to the Bible. And he spelled a word wrong, so I wasn't even going to get into that. No big deal. We all do that on the internet. It's essentially become a different language on the internet when you type stuff. So I totally know that for plenty of time. So what he's trying to get at, what this individual is trying to get at, is that it's essentially bad, morally wrong, which is completely false in atheism. Completely false. So he's appealing to some sort of moral law, in a sense. That's what he's kind of getting at. I kind of want to deal with 3 different parts to it separately. Some things I think of on the go, and at the same time I'm trying to stick to my notes, so it's kind of both and both here. So he's appealing to some sort of standard by saying the Bible's horrific. By what standard? What standard are you using? Is it by any chance an immaterial standard, or you as the standard? If it's you as the standard, I can have a standard too based on me. Okay, so I'll say it's right. You can say it's wrong. Who's right? Well, then we play the majority game. But if the majority votes to, let's say, because of global warming or climate change or something like that, let's exclude China building artificial islands. Nobody talks about that, but that's some climate change. But assume the majority, in a democratic way, voted to kill most of the people off to save the remaining. Well, then, is that morally okay? Is that right? The majority believe? And then he says, fairy tale. I'm very curious if one, however much one would concede. I've heard, the shortest verse is that Jesus wept. would any atheist be just willing to concede that one verse? It doesn't depend on too much, just that Jesus existed and that he wept. There's not that much to it, you know. So would one be willing to concede that? Or is that fairy tale? Why would that bit be made up? Another thing is, I'm just running based off not my notes right now, but to call it horrific concedes a very important point. It's essentially weight, and it gives weight and validity to it, to the Bible, that it's actually the genuine article. Because if it's man-made, just for money or something like that, you know, then the very first things that would get tossed out of it, or never even be put into it, would be anything that could be offensive or bad. God would have been the first thing to get out of it, to have been removed and replaced by whatever else. The 10 Commandments, those would have been gone. All the bad things that the historical figures did would have been gone. You know, two daughters, you know, sleeping with the dad, them doing it, he was drunk and out of it, but they purposely got themselves pregnant. So there's that. Why would that be in there if it's just bogus, you know? So it adds a certain validity to it. All the bad things that different people did, historical figures. David, he lusted after a woman. He had the girls, the woman's husband killed off on purpose. So he lusted and coveted a beautiful woman. So, you know, nobody is going to put their bad deeds out there unless they're genuine. It's the genuine article. All those ancient folks and kings, they wouldn't even admit a defeat in battle. They would whitewash the records and say that they massively triumphed over the enemy when they really lost a battle or something like that. So, and that's just warfare. We're not talking a personal moral history. Nobody would want to admit or put that out there. So the idea that the bad things were tossed out there adds to its validity, that they are real, genuine articles. Why would all that stuff not be removed? Anything that could possibly offend, you know. Plus you have worlds of time for it to be removed or modified or at least scaled down, toned back, something. But the fact that they're there is pretty good evidence for it rather than against it, I find. So the fairy tale bit, the horrific bit, traumatized children. Why is, number one, why is traumatizing children bad? And two, why would it be morally wrong? It's not an atheism. Kids are just animals, aren't they? Is it wrong to traumatize animals while hunting them? Then all hunting would be bad, but there's no basis for bad. There's no basis for bad, evil, good, holy, immoral, moral. It's just whatever you decide, you the individual. And that's where it gets totally bonkers and messed up. We're all going to assume ourselves as the good guy, when if we take an honest look in the mirror, we're not the good guy. We're not perfect, anyhow. So, one person appeals to them as standard, another as standard. Who's right? well, then you get to the majority game, and the majority can be completely wrong or used for bad, definitely. So anyhow, and then I threw in here in my notes. We're gonna try and be fast and wrap this up, but I'm trying to only do like 5-minute videos now. But how about we turn the tables on this statement? Is teaching them throughout the years in the secular public education system, everybody paying for it type of deal, no matter what, a worldview is going to be taught. If it's not Christianity, then it's simply the lack of atheism, evolution, secular type deal. So no matter what, one is taking a stance. There's no neutrality. But quite simply, is teaching them, telling them over the course of their early years into teenage years type of deal and college, is telling the youth, kids, teens, high school, college, elementary, you name it, is telling them, teaching them that they are animals and stardust and without purpose, and the essential results of that kind of life teachings. Is that horrific? I was pondering about mentioning something, but I'm probably not going to mention it. I think I should cover it in a different video, but it has to do with one of the school things that had happened recently. I'm not going to get into it here. I don't think that would be good, but maybe on its own separate video we might cover that. But it was a disturbing video of what the guy was saying. So anyhow, it seems there's a bit of a double standard there. So him having his own worldview, his own beliefs taught, with everyone funding it, is perfectly fine, where there is no moral absolutes. Where in Christianity it's hinged upon God, not gonna change. Whatever the case, society change, definitely changing. But kids are definitely the target. But why the double standard? Well, quite simply, probably all boils back to Genesis 3. Sin. He's defending his sin by kind of lashing out. So on one hand, his view is okay, but not Christianity. So he would call his own view grand and great, but not Christianity, not with a moral standard, a judge, a creator who one is accountable to, ultimate purpose, meaning, and value. So this person, like many of the comments we're going to deal with, are not ready for the gospel. And also a question, what part of the Bible traumatizes children? So there's some pretty, this and that in there. So I like King James. One thing the King James does nicely is it uses the word "no" for for instance, Adam and Eve having relations, it uses the word no or new. It uses the word new. So that's certainly better than the blatant, having it be blatant, to kids or something like that. But anyhow, and the traumatized children thing, that's kind of on the realm of emotionalism and appealing to the emotions. But why is it wrong? Why would it be wrong? Why would it be wrong? Doing this or that to stardust or animals should be fine. Should be fine. Or at least one would be stuck in neutrality. How about a time when people are aborting their kids, murdering their kids post birth? Is this individual going to speak out and dare offend them and get locked up someday? Oh, okay, I see. Maybe it'll just be the Christians, if we're still here then. Who knows? Might get taken home. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. So yeah, why would it be wrong? Why would it be wrong to traumatize children? Why would it be bad? Someone could just as equal or more so as the harm, the traumatization of the child, someone could equally have a blast doing it. Have a much greater time than the kid is having a horrible time going about it. But this and that depends on the heart, the intention of the heart, and God reads the heart. So, but anyhow, there's no right, wrong, good, bad, evil, holy in atheism. There's just neutrality. It's whatever you're okay with or not, and then whatever the majority might decide, or folks vote on, or whatever way society is pushed. And the majority don't make right. Majority don't make right. If the majority believed this and that, we already covered that. But let me cover the fairy tale bit for a moment. Let's kind of turn it around. How about, let's flip the table. How about a universe from nada? From a dot? Where'd the dot come from? Where'd the energy come from? Perhaps the greater the creation, the greater the creator, and nature just wow. Many stars, just really amazing. But anyhow, there's this program, SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. So they're looking for intelligence, evidence of intelligence out there, a signal, a code, information, functional information. And sure enough, what we're made of, DNA, ATCG, I think it is, deoxyribonucleic acid. It's all sorts of information, super condensed. Probably much more so than anything we have condensed in terms of information storage, worlds more. How much intelligence would that take? And it's functional information. It has everything to build us and to all that. So, very impressive, very impressive. But this thing, this Bible that he called a horrific fairy tale that is used to traumatize children, aka it's bad. First off, the Bible says, woe to them who call good evil and evil good. Second of all, I think quite different. Quite a number of years as a Christian. I, on the other hand, find it to be the most beautiful story ever told. Man messed up. Adam was a representative. They messed up. Adam and Eve, they messed up. Eve was blonde. Eve pulled a blonde movement. And God told of a redeemer that would eventually come. And sure enough, he did. To fulfill the moral law flawlessly in worlds of prophecy. So, that was around 2,000 years ago now. Jesus dying on the cross, rising again the third day, in our place, so that our sin could be taken away, forgiven, if we place our trust in him and accept him as our personal Lord and Savior. John 15:13 says, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. That's what God did for us. That's what God did for us, so that we could live with him forever. Not based on anything we can do. We can't earn it. We can't work for it. It's just boatloads of grace and mercy. Boatloads of grace and mercy. And I was presented with that infinitely great gift a long time ago and accepted. And I would like to do the same for what is ultimately my own brothers and sisters, mankind, human race, we're all related. So, ultimately, all the folks out there related to me, important to me. So it's very important to dish out that opportunity. Some will reject, some will accept. It's a massive opportunity, massive opportunity. World's better than the alternative too. But anyhow, that's the video. I don't want to. We spent a little lengthy time on it as it is. So anyhow, that was plenty for me. So I would like to get through another two. So anyhow, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I will see you up ahead. As always, take it cool.